The pharmacy is now open.
Yo, what is up, you guys? Welcome to another episode of VGRx, your weekly dose of video game news, knowledge, and... Know-how. Thank you.
Trivia?
I appreciate that. And, yeah, some trivia here and there, I guess. Sometimes. Not every week, but sometimes. This week.
For sure.
Specifically, we do have trivia. I am one of your hosts, Scott, and this one over here...
Who, me?
Is Brittin.
That's me. Hi.
That's Brittin.
Glad to be
and
here.
over here is Zach. Oh, wait.
Can you make a cricket sound with
I
your
know.
mouth?
Cricket.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah, did you like that?
Not really.
Zach is unfortunately sick. He didn't want to cough and sneeze into the mic, and frankly, I don't blame him, because the only thing I can imagine seeing is him like sneezing and coughing directly into the mic, and then just like snot like cartoonishly coming off of the microphone from his face.
A lot of people use these mics.
Yeah,
that would
so
be good.
I mean, I'm sure it's not the first time. That's probably how he got sick.
That's why I'm trying to keep my distance here.
Yeah, I wouldn't put your lips on that. Yeah, don't go.
I wasn't planning on it.
Okay.
Thanks for the advice.
Yeah, no problem. That's what I'm here for.
Hey, Zach, if you're listening,
Yes.
we love you, man.
He is.
Feel better.
He is 100% listening.
Eat some chicken soup.
Yeah,
And thanks for getting this uploaded on time.
eat some chicken strips.
Oh, wait, when you're sick? Yeah? Anything goes?
Anything? What's it gonna do to you?
They're
They're gonna make you more sick?
Possibly.
Don't get bad chicken strips. I don't know what you always tell you.
Deep fried food when you're sick just probably isn't the greatest idea.
Really?
Is all I'm saying.
Man, dude, I just shove food in my hole when I get hungry and I'm sick.
So did we have a trivia question last week?
We did have trivia.
Let's do that.
We did have trivia.
Instead of whatever it is we're doing right here.
we were talking about Pokemon.
Yeah.
Fun fact before I start off this question.
Ooh,
know
okay.
last week how we were talking how are they going to do like a 24-hour live stream for the whole Pokemon thing?
Yes.
I found out what it was.
Yeah, me too. It's actually on the dock.
Yeah. Oh,
do you want to save it and talk about it a little bit?
Okay, yeah, we'll talk about it later.
Okay,
I wasn't sure if it was on the dock.
It's on here.
Okay, cool.
We got some deets.
It was definitely not what I was expecting.
Same.
So my question was, in the Pokemon region, every different region is based on a real life location. And my question was, what was the Kanto region based off of? I don't remember what you said.
And I don't know. Zach and I were over here racking our brains, thinking like, what cities or regions, areas of Japan can we even name?
Yeah.
Let alone make an association with this
Yeah.
Pokemon game.
Yeah.
I think I said Hokkaido.
Yeah, this is a trick question because
It's a funny answer.
and you looked it up and you're like,
did.
wow, I can't believe this. The Kanto region is based off the Kanto region in Japan. There's literally a region in Japan called the Kanto region.
Very creative, you guys.
So, just so y'all know, the first region of Pokemon is based entirely off of the actual named location.
Trick question. You trolled us.
Yeah, I did.
It's fun, though.
I thought it was good.
It's fun.
Like I said, I could have said some other ones because like the Unova and Alola region are based in the U.S., and then, sorry, that was my phone.
Hawaii.
And then Hawaii, yeah.
Which
and
is
then
the
the
US.
Galar region is obviously in the United Kingdom.
Right.
So
Okay. That's fun.
I like how they're branching out. I think it's cool.
They kind of are. I mean, we were just talking a little while ago. They've done France before with Pokemon something X and Y. So they've done European locales before.
Yeah,
But
I think that's cool.
yeah, totally.
But they're probably also running out of places in Japan
That's true.
because they've already had 5 in Japan. And I can
seriously?
tell you, yeah.
That's most of the series history.
Let's see, Sinnoh, Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, and the Sivian Isles.
Mm-hmm.
So,
How about like Australia or something?
ooh,
Or New Zealand?
ooh.
There's options, man.
I would say Australia.
Africa?
I would say
Could do Egypt or something like that.
you're starting to stray a little bit.
I'm just saying.
You
There's
had me with Australia
Or-
and New Zealand.
somewhere in South America, like Brazil.
What about Sweden?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Russia.
You could meet the local YouTube sensation PewDiePie.
Yeah,
in
he
that
could
version.
be there. Yeah.
That'd be fun.
You just see this like sprite with these headphones and chair.
Yeah,
He just flies back in
Leaning
his
back in
chair.
his chair.
Yeah,
That's good.
that's good meme. Good meme.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem.
Wait, that
That's
was
what
your
I'm here
meme. Good job.
for. Oh, good meme. Good meme.
There you go. Pat yourself
Hey.
on the back. Hey,
What do you want to talk about today?
well, quick before we get going.
Yes.
we have a little announcement to make.
Okay.
we're excited about
Little.
it. Okay, yeah, big.
Yeah, big announcement.
Big for us
Big
anyway.
announcement.
Maybe less so for our visitors.
Our visitors?
Yeah.
Wow, dude,
The
people are coming through the door
doors
right
open,
now.
you
Yeah,
guys.
whenever you want.
Come on down. We have officially joined a brand new podcast network. It's called the HPVG Podcast Network.
Yes.
And it's
Which
a
is
collection of video game podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of cool shows you can go on there and check out, and we are now one of them.
Yeah.
So you're gonna probably start to hear some promos here and there for other shows on the network.
So don't be
on our
alarmed.
show. Don't be alarmed. Be prepared for that. And then there's also going to be a few ads associated with that. So we're excited about it. It should be cool. It's an opportunity for us to hopefully grow our listener base a little bit. That's always the goal.
But don't worry, you can still catch us on nwczradio.com.
Absolutely.
Still check us out on iTunes. We'll still be on YouTube. All the social meets.
Right.
This is just something we are adding on to it.
Sure.
So we can get our voices out to more ear holes.
That's
in the
always
world.
the goal.
Yeah. To get our voices out to more ear holes.
Exactly. I couldn't have said it better myself.
I mean, how could you say it any better?
I couldn't, and I wouldn't even try.
Wow, thanks, buddy. I appreciate that.
Yep,
That means a lot to me. Well, with that little bit of information, just a little something.
Yep.
We will move on to actual news.
Well, you already touched on something on the dock. Let's just start there. That
Sword and
silly
Shield?
Sword and Shield
Yes,
live stream.
the Sword and
That
Shield
was weird.
live stream. It was. It was very odd.
Last week when we brought it up on the show, we were like, how do you do 24 hours?
We were thinking logistics. We were thinking legitimately someone in front of a camera for 24
Right.
hours.
I'm imagining
like a Twitch
developers
streamer or something
playing
like
the
that,
game, talking about it.
for 24 hours.
It wasn't that. It wasn't that
not
at all.
what we expected at
So
all.
what was this?
Basically, the best way I could put it would be like a nature camera.
Yeah.
So where they set up a camera out in nature and watch animals do their thing without any interruption.
They even had a little backstory to go with it.
Yeah.
One of the professor's assistants
Yeah.
was supposedly running an experiment, and she had this camera set up out in the wilderness
Yep.
to
So
try to capture some footage of wild Pokemon.
so we saw a bunch of different Pokemon.
I
wait.
got a little list here of some of the stuff that appeared. These weren't even always all on camera. Sometimes you just heard like the sound that they
cries.
make, or saw like a tail or an ear flash by, and sometimes stuff was just teased. And it sort of culminated with kind of
The big one.
the announcement that was being made with this whole thing.
Yeah.
A 24-hour video announcement. So, do you want to run through what was in this? Do you see
Sure.
it here? Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, you want me to do it?
Yeah, do it. You're
Okay.
the Pokemon guy.
Well, I can promise you I won't be able to pronounce
Did you
that
watch
one.
like a little recap video with just a couple of them?
I actually didn't know that there was all these Pokemon. So Pikachu, Morlu, was it?
Phantump. Do you not know
Phantump.
these Pokemon?
No, I don't.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You play them all though, don't you?
Look, man, just because you play all the
gotta keep
games
track of
does
all
not
900.
mean that you know all 800 Pokemon by their
Okay.
names.
900. Go ahead.
Yeah. Was it Swirlix? Impidimp, Cottony, what is this one?
Shinotic?
Shinotic. Oh, that's the Raven one.
Oh, okay.
And then it all basically culminated to Ponyta.
A reveal of a region-specific version
Yes.
of a Pokemon
Yeah,
that already exists.
which I thought was
it's
really
a little
weird.
anticlimactic.
So we got the Galar version of Ponyta. It looks really cool. I'm really digging
It
the
has
design of it.
cotton candy mane and tail.
It does. But it's a psychic type.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing's wrong with that.
Okay.
But why wasn't it a fairy type? Weezing's a fairy type.
It's in this like glimmering, glowy.
It's a unicorn,
forest.
basically.
It would totally fit.
It
if
would
was-
totally fit.
Yeah.
But they have Weezing as a fairy type, but not Ponyta.
Interesting.
So
Hey, they can do whatever.
I
they
don't
want.
think they showed Rapidash. So
I believe they didn't show it in the stream, but I think images have come out since
Okay.
of the Rapidash version of it.
So yeah, they took 24 hours to make a live stream for one Pokemon announcement. But it's not just one Pokemon. You can only get this Pokemon in Shield version.
Oh yeah,
So it's not just
it's like
just a Pokemon. It's a Pokemon that you can only get in one game and not
Yeah.
the other.
Wow, that's quite a
So-
way to announce something like that.
Yeah.
Quite an elaborate way to announce something like that.
Like I think it's cool that they did it.
One other
That way.
I want to. Yeah, it's a unique way to do it, if
It
nothing
is,
else.
yeah.
One other takeaway from the video, I suppose, though, is that some of these older Pokemon were being confirmed for Galar for the first time, the Galar region.
Yeah.
Which is a thing now because, as we've heard, the Galar region has its own Pokédex, and a lot of old Pokemon won't be there. So maybe if one of these was your favorite and you saw it on this list, you'd be psyched about it. I don't know.
Well, none of them are my favorite.
Okay, right
so.
on. Hey, who's your,
I mean, a lot of these ones are newer Pokemon.
Okay.
Like the Impidimp.
Yeah, I haven't heard of the vast majority of these.
So,
Who's your favorite Pokemon?
like of all time,
Yeah.
Ampharos.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, 100% Ampharos.
Okay. Right on. He was
So-
one of my team in X.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Mega Ampharos is pretty dope too. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I like both versions. I like Mega Ampharos probably the best out of like everything. But if I had to go with just a normal Pokemon, it'd be Ampharos.
I'm more of a Mareep man myself.
Well, here's the thing: is I know they have like their own version of a sheep in the Galar region.
Oh,
so
right. So maybe you won't get Ampharos this time around. And Mareep.
we'll see.
That'd be sad.
Maybe they'll have like a shepherd pasture. You know,
Sure.
it's England, so
Yeah.
they could do it.
Okay.
And then have like Mareeps.
You're
and,
reaching.
Yeah. Look, man.
Maybe.
Look, I got to grasp for straws where I can.
As long as Geodude shows up, I'm happy. But I'm not even gonna hold my breath for that. You gotta have Geodude. You know,
I think they do.
You know the best Pokemon?
Geodude?
Uh-huh.
I could tell you who I ran away from.
By
every time
best, I
looked.
don't mean most capable fighter.
Oh,
I mean
okay, got it.
Coolest.
I did like the Alola region of Geodude.
He's got like weird studs in his head.
Yeah.
It's a little funky. I don't know.
I love the Golem version.
Yeah.
He's got this big like electric pincher on top of his head.
He's pretty cool.
He's an electric rock. Like you can't get more of a weird typing.
Yeah, it's pretty bizarre.
So sorry, I keep coughing.
That's enough about Pokemon.
Yeah.
We
Here,
talk about Pokemon way too much.
You talk. I'm gonna quickly grab a water. I should
Why would I do that?
because I'm
Okay.
not there to talk with you.
Okay.
I need a water.
So I'm going to give people a little heads up as to what a few of the topics we will be touching on today. Give us a little rundown. We're going to talk about PlayStation 5 a little bit, which is exciting. Little Red Dead talk. We've got I can't do the sound bite, so I can't even really say this. I'll let you do it later, but we got a Reggie Watch, which is very exciting. that was a teaser for the what's to come, the sound bite to come.
Yes.
That's always fun. Interesting Fortnite lawsuit happening, which I think is worth talking about. It's a little bizarre, a little out there. Let's just leave it at that. We'll jump into this list and start going through some stuff.
Those are the big things. I feel like we should talk about John Kirby too.
Oh, we will for sure.
Cool.
Sure. Just hitting some highlights. Do you want to start with the big thing, which is PlayStation?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, cool. We'll jump in talking about PlayStation 5, which we can actually say now is called PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Whee! It's so exciting. Like we didn't see that coming.
I wonder what Xbox is going to come out. The Xbox 1, 2, 3 Switch.
ABC 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
It's easy as 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
The Jackson 5 version.
The Jackson 5 box.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out about that soon.
Yeah.
PlayStation 5. There was a blog post this week on the PlayStation blog, the official PlayStation blog, and then also an interview appeared with Mark Cerny, the architect behind PlayStation, in Wired magazine, and some new information about the PlayStation 5 came out of those two sources this week. Mm-hmm. So it is called the PlayStation 5 officially. Not surprising. It's coming out holiday of 2020, which I feel like we actually heard something to that effect before.
That's really long, though.
The last time they talked about this was back in April, and we kind of got the first details on the system back then. But they narrowed down, I guess, that release window now to holiday 2020. So you think that's pretty far out? It's only a year away, man.
Yeah, no.
What do you expect?
I don't know. I'll tell you what I didn't expect.
They always hit holidays, you know that, and it's obviously not happening this year. So.
Have you seen the images of like of what it looks like?
Those are like pulled from patent filings or something like that. I don't know if any of those are even remotely official.
Some of them look pretty.
They're weird looking.
Yeah,
they remind me of like a disc changer or something like that.
A dip in it. And the first thing I thought of, I was like, oh, look, it's the PlayStation 5, the Borderlands edition.
Oh, sure. Kind of like that logo.
The symbol in the middle of it is the Borderlands symbol.
Yeah.
So
coincidence, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So here's some of the other details that came out of this.
Yeah.
They talked a lot about the controller. Mm-hmm. Apparently, the controller is something that they've put a lot of thought into this time around, which, if you think back to the history of PlayStation's controllers, they've always just been pretty darn straightforward. Mm-hmm. I guess they got a little more creative last time around with the light bar, that silly light that's on the back of the controller that can change colors. And they had a couple I guess
it had a touchpad
novel.
on it too.
Oh, there's that too.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a little bit of a recent history with getting creative with the controller, but I don't think any of that really worked out. The stuff they did with the PS4 controller. Like, I can think of a handful of games that even used that touchpad, let alone did something cool with them. And all that light bar did was drain the battery.
Yeah.
Like, insanely fast. A typical controller should have, like, at least a 20-hour battery life. That one had, like, 5 maybe
Yeah.
because of that light bar, and you couldn't turn it off, which was silly.
So you're
So,
just stuck with
hopefully that's gone this time around. They didn't say, but I'm going to assume. They're doing what they're calling haptic feedback in this controller. I don't know how that works with just a controller in your hand, but basically it's replacing rumble, and it's going to be able to simulate a wider variety of feedback in your hands. So the couple examples they gave is a car crash versus a tackle in a football game are going to feel dramatically different. It's not just this one shakes, that one shakes. You know, it's going to feel different in your hands. I don't know what that feels like. It's something you're going to have to get hands on with.
And mud.
And then they also said running through a field. They called these textures, like textures you can feel. Running through a field of grass is going to feel different than slogging through mud.
Got it.
And those are all going to be things that you'll feel feedback for.
What about ice in my hand?
I knew you were going to go there. I was hoping you would go there. Yeah, doesn't this sound vaguely familiar?
Yeah, it does.
Does it sound like something else we heard about
Sounds
recently?
like something called HD Rumble that barely gets used.
It really does.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if it'll be a similar thing where they kind of made a big deal of it, sounded interesting and novel, and then
No one
developers
uses it.
just didn't really take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Very well possible.
I mean, why would you? Like, if you're making a game, the last thing you're gonna think about is how can we make this new enhanced controller feel like you're slogging through mud?
What about running through a field of grass though?
Or running through a field of grass.
That actually sounds
So
nice.
we'll use Gears as an example. Like Gears, you're running through all different kinds of terrain.
Sure.
So, do you think they would take the time to specifically map out rumble points for everything you're running through in that game? Probably not.
Well, first party stuff, I kind of do because they're going to want to sell people on the hardware. So,
Yeah.
like a new God of War, for example, they'll probably almost insist that stuff gets incorporated.
It'll chop off your hands if you do something. Yeah.
That's some HD rumble.
Yeah,
right
that's
there.
an HD rumble. It'll rumble so fast your hands just fall off.
I don't want this system. This doesn't sound very good anymore.
I want the PlayStation 6 now.
Another thing that's going along hand in hand with that haptic feedback is adaptive triggers. They're calling them adaptive triggers. So L2 and R2 are now going to basically give you resistance feedback as you push them. And they talked a bit about how that paired with the HD rumble is going to give you a completely new and unique sensation in your hands while you're playing certain
Wasn't
games.
there another controller that did that too?
Not that
I
I
want
can
to say
think of.
Xbox, but I don't think it was.
I mean, they've always had like a range of motion. They're analog versus digital, so there's a range on them. You can slowly accelerate a vehicle, for instance.
Yeah.
But they're actually going to push back and resist your touch, depending on the context of the game, what's going on in the game.
Got it.
Examples they gave on this are drawing a bowstring. You'll feel the tension of the bowstring as
Wow.
you draw. Or acceleration in a vehicle. You're going to feel some resistance and some rumble to simulate what that would actually feel like pressing down on that pedal.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That is cool.
So it's all part of the same package that's going to make kind of feeling the controller a different experience this time around.
The only thing I can think of is you've seen like a rumble pack in a controller or something like that, right?
Yep.
Okay. So when I see this, I only imagine like 6 different rumblers like stacked on top of each other, like getting little to gradually bigger.
Yeah.
And then all like running at different times simultaneously.
I have no idea what this thing would look like on the inside. Have you ever seen a controller opened up?
Yeah.
They're pretty empty.
Yeah, it's not too much to it.
So there's room for junk like this in there, I guess.
Yeah.
And it could be cool, but again, I do think it's something developers are going to either make succeed or fail. If the developers are on board and do cool stuff with it, it'll be maybe an advent in gaming. But if they don't take advantage of it, it's just gonna sit like other tech we've seen.
Yeah, I never hear anything about like the HD rumble in the Switch ever.
Yeah,
I heard about the ice cubes and that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
classic.
That was it.
You played 1-2 Switch, right? Did it do anything cool with that?
I-
Because I don't think I've played any games on Switch that made me say, "Wow, that's unique."
I've never if I did, I never thought about it.
Yeah.
I didn't think, wow, man, this HD rumble so good.
It just feels like varying degrees of rumble and maybe in different parts of the controller, but it all just still felt like rumble to me. So this would have to be doing something pretty unique to stand out from that. We'll see. We'll see.
will see.
We'll get our hands on with it someday.
Let's talk specs.
I don't have specs. I kind of have specs.
kind of have specs?
A little bit. So, yeah, Mark Cerny in the interview with Wired went over some, I guess, kind of clarified some points that he made in the interview that came out back in April. He talked about ray tracing again, and I guess they got a lot of negative feedback when they first announced this back in April because people were assuming that the ray tracing would be done at a software level, which puts a lot of tax on the hardware. But he wanted to put those fears to bed and assure everyone that the ray tracing actually is being done at a hardware level. So they are building the processor with ray tracing in mind. So it's not going to put extra stress on the hardware or on the CPU, GPU to do this stuff because it's built with that in mind.
Those are some good words you just used.
I guess, yeah. I mean, this is pretty technical for me too. So he talked again about how efficient the hard drive is going to be. It's a solid state drive. They're still not talking size of the hard drive, which is a little concerning. It's got to be a big hard drive because we are installing games again.
I'd be very surprised if it wasn't at least a terabyte.
Yeah, it's got to be, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, he was talking again, and he kind of just reiterated stuff he said before, how solid state is the way that it needs to be going forward. We're not going to have a platter with a head seeking points on this drive because it takes milliseconds, which doesn't sound like much for the head to find data on the drive, but those milliseconds add up because every single thing that's being found and loaded into the game is being sought out on the drive. So yeah, solid state, he's really talking about how that's going to be the future of really fast and streamlined loading of games.
And that was something I was talking about, is that a terabyte of solid state drive is not cheap.
Yeah.
So if they're going to be designing their own version of it, I can tell you a terabyte.
I don't think it's outrageously expensive anymore like it used to be.
It's about
but
$200.
It's yeah.
Yeah.
Which is going to be pricey. We've talked about this before, how it's going to make this system pretty darn expensive with all this tech
to put in perspective, a 3 terabyte hard drive is about $150.
Okay. Yeah.
So a terabyte solid state drive is about 200-ish.
And
So,
they're going to get wholesale prices, obviously.
Yeah, for sure. But
they do have a history. I don't know about PS4, but with the PS3, they out of the gate they sold that thing at a loss. It cost them more to manufacture it than what they were selling it for. They could do something like that again if it gets them on top and gets the system out there, so people will be buying games.
I don't think they're worried about it. With the success of the PlayStation 4, I'm sure they've more than made up for their money.
Yeah,
for sure.
We'll see what they do.
Blu-ray,
yeah. So,
obviously.
Well, they didn't really say that. They said 100 gigabyte optical discs. So there's a drive, and there's sizable discs that you're going to be able to buy your games on, which is good because you won't have games with 5 discs this time around, or 3 at least. Some games have 3 discs these days, I guess. But the drive will also double as a 4K Blu-ray drive.
Okay, cool.
So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if they're actually Blu-ray discs or if there's some proprietary format, but they're bigger this time around, which is good. And then they kind of ended the interview by reassuring us that Death Stranding.
Yeah.
No, not exactly. Death Stranding, The Last of Us 2, and Ghost of Tsushima are all still coming to PS4.
Gotcha.
Which is, I guess, just throwing a bone to PS4 users.
None
out
of those
there.
games are even. They're coming out all this year. Well, maybe not the Ghost, but
they just don't want people to be worried that there's nothing else planned for PS4. I guess before PS5 hits.
PS5 isn't coming out until next year.
Right. So we need PS4 games.
Yeah.
Because you could look at this interview and be like, well, the PS5's around the corner. Why would I even bother with my PS4 anymore? Or why would I buy a PS4 for the next year?
Yeah.
Because when you announce a new piece of hardware, a lot of people don't want to buy your old hardware anymore.
Yeah.
They want to wait for the new stuff. So I guess they were kind of curbing that a little bit. But these are all games that have been announced for years now.
Yeah, and they're all games that are relatively coming out soon.
Right.
So.
And they'll probably, in all honesty, get PS5 versions as well. So you'll probably see all these games come out on both.
Yeah.
But it does kind of look like PS4's final year here is going to be pretty sparse, don't you think?
We'll see.
I mean, they have Death Stranding this year, but what else have they had this year that's been remarkable? Was Spider-Man earlier this year, or was that last year?
It was this year, I think.
Okay. But I mean, for a whole year, to have
it wasn't this year. It was
to have just
year.
a handful of big games come out,
yeah,
that's kind of crazy to me.
Yeah.
I know it's the tail end of the life cycle, but you still need to support your hardware. Plus, they have 90 million, something like that, PS4s out there. sell games to these people so they
Yeah.
could, give you money for your.
I mean, think of it
products.
this way: it's like Nintendo's pretty good at that. When the Wii came out and like Twilight Princess came out, they
Right.
made a GameCube version and a Wii version.
Right, that's true.
So, I'm sure they'll do the same thing. Well, for a while they'll make games for their older console. Like they'll
Yeah.
make 2 different versions, but
Yeah. I hope this means we're looking at a killer launch for PS5. Like,
Don't hold your breath.
Sounds like all their studios are preoccupied with PS5 right now because there's not much in the pipeline for PS4 for its final year. But we'll see. That's all subject to change.
we
I guess.
will see.
Yep.
That's enough PlayStation talk.
Yep.
Let's
yep.
move on.
That was a mouthful.
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about, man?
I want to talk about.
I want something you want to talk about
Oh.
so that you can banter for a little bit.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, because I feel like I'm talking too much.
I mean, I want to talk about the studio behind Mario and Luigi games closes.
Do you?
Oh,
Are you a fan of this series, these games?
I love probably some of my favorite games on the DS were the Mario and Luigi games.
What would you say is the best in this series?
Of
There's-
Mario and Luigi?
Yeah, there's been like 7 of them, something like that.
Probably. I really, really like the first one. The first one holds a special place in my heart.
That was Superstar Saga. That's Game
yeah.
Boy Advance, right?
That was a Game Boy Advance game. It was so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
The dialogue was funny. It felt like a true successor to Mario RPG.
okay.
so-
Less so than Paper Mario.
Yeah, it didn't feel like a paper. There was never a point where I felt like it was a Paper Mario game.
Other than the fact that they're both paper or Mario RPGs.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. So this series you think kind of picked up where Mario RPG left off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm kind of bummed that it's closed.
It's unfortunate. So the studio is called AlphaDream,
Uh-huh.
and they've been around for 19 years.
Yeah,
That
that's crazy.
Probably about coincides with when that first game came out, or a little before that.
Mm.
But yeah, they just filed for bankruptcy, and they're going to be closing their doors.
Which is weird.
A little bit, yeah.
Like,
I mean,
they made
think,
very successful games for Nintendo.
think about the last 5 years of this studio, though.
Uh-huh.
So their last proper game was a 3DS game. It was Mario and Luigi Paper Jam,
Yeah.
which kind of combined the Mario and Luigi series and Paper Mario series. I didn't play it. Did you play that one?
I didn't play Paper Jam, no.
It seemed cool, but their last few games have had weird like battle systems and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Same with the Paper Mario series. You have like card-based battles, and they weren't just kind of straightforward, pure RPG experiences. They
I don't
always
think they
added
did
something.
Paper Mario, though.
They what?
They didn't do Paper Mario, though.
No, they didn't. You're right.
Yeah.
But I kind of just equate those two series
Oh, okay.
because of what they both set out to do.
Yeah.
And then after that, they released a couple remasters of old Mario and Luigi games
Mm-hmm.
on 3DS. And that's about all they've done in the
Yeah.
past 5 years.
Bummer.
So I guess it's not crazy to think that just because they're releasing remasters that they're not really raking in the cash.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
They should have made some for Switch.
well, should have. The Switch hasn't been around that long, I guess. But yeah, maybe like the first those couple remasters of the first games should have been Switch games instead of 3DS games, or at least both.
Yeah.
But you can't really release a game with assets from Game Boy Advance on Switch unless you put a lot of work into
You'd
it.
have to do a full remaster of the game.
Right, where with 3DS you can kind of probably just clean it up a little bit and
Yeah.
repackage it.
Yahoo Japan reports that the move is due to 4.3 million in debt
Yeah.
in development costs and slowing revenue.
So yeah, they're not making as much. Games cost more to make these days, and they were sitting on a pile of debt because they haven't. I guess they just haven't really been selling like they used to,
yeah,
which is unfortunate.
it is.
It's a cool series. It's a beloved series,
Yeah.
and Nintendo will no doubt continue with the idea of Mario and RPGs.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows what that looks like next? Because the Paper Mario series has slowed down dramatically
I
too.
know.
So what is next for the Mario RPG franchise?
After Thousand Year Doors, the game just got so bad in my
so they only
opinion.
made two good ones,
Yeah.
essentially, is what we're saying. Yeah.
Well, a Paper Mario, yeah.
There was also Super Paper Mario, which wasn't really an RPG. It was kind of
It was like
action
a
adventure game.
side-scrolling game. They didn't do a turn-based battle. Like I feel that was half the fun of Paper Mario was the whole turn-based
Yeah.
strategy of the game.
Agreed.
I'm
It was an
not.
RPG.
I'm not someone who likes turn-based strategy much, but Paper Mario did it so well.
And they also did the timing thing, which I don't know if other games, if they got that from another game or if they invented it, where right when you
Are
do an
about to get
attack,
hit,
you push a button or
you-
defend, and it ramps up your attack or your defense.
Yeah.
It made it feel less like just menu based and a little more action based, which
Mm-hmm.
was a novel idea. So I guess the biggest takeaway from this is what's next for Mario RPGs.
I don't know.
I bet. No, I don't bet, but
Okay.
I wish.
You're
and
gonna
I
put
hope-
money on it?
I would love it if Nintendo just straight up teamed up with Square Enix again.
Yeah.
And made a new Mario RPG.
Yeah.
Because they only did it once, and it was awesome, and everybody loved it.
Do you remember?
Imagine what they could do on the Switch.
I know, right?
It'd be so great.
I don't know if you ever saw the photos of they had like Mario in the Kingdom Hearts universe.
Yeah.
So like showed him with like a Keyblade and stuff like that.
that's funny.
And he had this whole redesign. It was really cool. It was really well done.
Yeah.
It was something that like you could truly believe would be in the Kingdom Hearts universe.
I mean, it almost justifies its own series, though.
Yeah,
like
for
because
real.
there's so many different kingdoms, and the Mushroom Kingdom has so many different cool areas and ideas and characters and monsters and stuff.
Yeah.
You could fill its own game with that.
Yeah.
Or how about a game where it starts in the Mushroom Kingdom, and like Kingdom Hearts, Mario's visiting all the other Nintendo franchises. So Mario goes to Hyrule.
Oh, that would be a lot of fun.
Mario's boxing with
But,
Little Mac.
Unfortunately,
How cool would that be?
I don't think that'll ever happen. But
We've gotten lots of weird crossover. Like
Yeah.
I mean, Smash Bros is the embodiment of that, just bringing series together.
that's true.
Something like that would be
You
cool.
want to know what would be really cool?
What's the point in fantasizing about this? It's never gonna happen.
Yeah.
Sounds cool though.
You know what would be really cool?
What?
Is a true Banjo-Kazooie remake.
Why do you always talk about it?
Because I love Banjo.
you a fan?
I am a huge fan.
Fine.
I'm a fan to the point where I'd probably get a tattoo. Of
Okay.
Banjo-Kazooie. I
Yeah.
think I might
Next,
actually someday.
next on the list. You're still working on one right now, though.
Yeah,
right?
I'm working on my thigh right now.
How many how many more visits is that gonna take?
Hopefully one more.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Not that I don't love going multiple times to my tattoo artist, but
It
I like
sounds-
being one and done with tattoos, and this one is definitely not.
Well, then why do you
this
get
one.
massive detailed tattoos?
Because I love them.
Oh,
okay?
okay.
Look,
you can't have it both ways, though.
I'm
man.
I'm not a person to get little dinky things just tattooed all over my body.
Sure.
That just takes up space.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know anything about tattoos.
Nope.
But you got some cool ones.
yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah,
Anyway,
dude,
we'll
no problem.
move on. There's nothing important about that.
All right.
What do you want to talk about?
Hey,
Hey.
speaking of Nintendo,
Yeah.
we got to hit me with it.
Is it time?
I need a soundbite.
Oh, I thought we were going to go with the depressing news first, but we
Oh.
can do that.
Should we? Let's do that first, and then we'll pick it back up.
Yeah, let's
okay.
do it.
All right, cool. So, John Kirby,
Yes.
who is the namesake of the character Kirby,
Yeah.
passed away this week.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bummer.
So he's notable not just for being the Kirby namesake. He actually earned that honor by something that happened with the company a long time ago. He used to be an attorney that represented Nintendo back in the 80s. And at one point, after Donkey Kong released, Universal sued Nintendo, or tried to sue Nintendo
For King
over
Kong.
IP rights
Yeah.
for Donkey Kong, because they said it was too similar to King Kong,
Kong.
their character King Kong.
Wow, man. What a giant gorilla.
Right.
Weird.
Well, in the name, obviously, Kong. I don't really know where Kong comes from. It's just a made-up word, right? And they both used it. So apparently Universal didn't like that, and they sued Nintendo over it. And so John Kirby was the attorney that was famous for defending Nintendo against that lawsuit and winning. So he successfully defended the Donkey Kong name, which if it had gone on any other way, we wouldn't have that character today.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I know. So yeah, he passed away this week, and he's kind of a cool part of Nintendo's history.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he had a lot of other career success. We just kind of know him in this light, though.
Yeah. He's a big deal to Nintendo, so.
Kirby, did you know this before this
I did, yes.
article came to light?
Yeah. I knew Kirby was named off of one of their attorneys, but I just couldn't remember his first name.
Yeah.
I just knew his last name was Kirby.
Yeah.
So, what a funny, like.
There's a lot of examples of that where characters from Nintendo's past are named after real people that
Like
not
who?
even directly worked for the company, like Mario.
Oh.
I believe was named after like the landlord of the warehouse they operated out of near Seattle.
Nice.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of random and
The
bizarre.
more you know.
I guess. Don't quote me on that, but
I'm
it's
quoting
something
you.
like that.
I'm currently quoting you.
I should know my Nintendo history better than that,
You
shouldn't
should.
I? Unacceptable.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a little bit of sad news.
Sorry.
Yep.
But
But let's
get into some happy news.
let's bring it back up again.
Are you ready?
Yeah, hit me
Okay.
with it. I love these things.
It's time for this week's Reggie Watch.
I almost fell out of my chair.
I know. I saw it.
You assaulted me with your words.
I mean, I couldn't go super ham because it wasn't a double Reggie watch.
That's true. You got to reserve it
yes,
a little bit for that.
For a double Reggie watch are the big one, but this is a single Reggie watch, which is not just as, it's a pretty significant Reggie watch.
Yeah, this is big.
Yeah,
this is cool.
Hit me with it.
So, Mr. Reggie Fils-Aimé.
Yes, the man, the myth,
the legend.
The legend.
He was awarded with the Walter Day Lifetime Achievement Award from the International Video Game Hall of Fame this week. So,
yes, he was.
He recorded a little acceptance speech that went along with this award, and it's nice. It's fun to watch. Mm-hmm. He thanked everybody for the award. He kind of shared the praise a little bit, talked about how couldn't have done it without the fans, couldn't have done it without all the hardworking people at Nintendo. Typical Reggie. And he mentioned, do you know who Isaiah Triforce Johnson is? Triforce is his nickname, obviously. Isaiah Johnson.
I don't know.
Okay. So this is the guy that actually put Reggie's name up in the nomination for this award.
Oh, really?
He's the guy that had the idea, I suppose.
Got it.
And so he went to the International Video Game Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. He said, Reggie's this awesome dude, and you should consider him for this award.
And then they're like, oh, who's Reggie?
So because of that, Reggie name dropped him specifically. And the other place you might know his name from or know his face from is he was at every single, and you'll know him when I say this, he was at every single hardware launch in Nintendo's history. Okay. So like at the Nintendo World Store, when they were first selling the DS, 3DS, Wii U, all of them, he was the first one in line. Nice. He would wait days on end to be the first one in line. And Reggie was always there, and he would sell the first system in person to the first person in line.
Wow.
So Reggie and Isaiah Johnson had this long-standing relationship. He knew every time there was a hardware launch, he'd go there, and this guy would be there and be first in line.
I'm surprised.
So they kind of have a cool relationship.
I'm surprised people, like, because this is, like, information people knew, mm-hmm. I'm surprised people didn't try and beat him to, like, be the first person.
Oh, yeah, probably. Yeah. Even if you showed up first and then he showed up, I feel like you'd give him first spot.
No,
because he's a legend, man.
No, I wouldn't. I'd be like, wow, sucks to suck.
And he probably got there like days, maybe a week early in some cases, to make sure he was the guy. But look where it got him. It got him Reggie's attention.
It got him a name drop in the
right. Exactly.
That's cool though.
I mean, Reggie talked about him like they had interacted many times and they were good friends.
Oh,
so
I'm sure they did.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So the award, which was previously presented to creators like Steve Wozniak and David Crane. Mm-hmm. Do you know these guys?
I know Steve Wozniak.
Okay.
He was the co-founder of Apple.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
And then David Crane was the creator of some amazing games like Pitfall on the Atari 2600
yes.
and A Boy and His Blob on NES, which is fantastic. So the award is named after Walter Day, and he's the founder of a company called Twin Galaxies, which you may be familiar with.
Yep.
They're kind of a record-keeping company
they
in
were
the gaming
first,
industry.
They were the first like record-keeping company. There's controversy about them specifically and like some of their judges with like records for the guy who
Billy Mitchell.
Yeah, Billy Mitchell is one of them, and then was Billy Mitchell? Was he the Pac-Man guy?
No, Billy Mitchell's Donkey Kong.
Yes, Donkey Kong. Yeah. So Donkey Kong, and then the guy who did the dragster race. I don't remember his name either.
Don't know.
Yeah. Basically, these two guys are pretty infamous for quote unquote
submitting records
and having them be approved by some Twin Galaxy people.
And if you think about it, back then in the 80s and 90s,
there was no other way.
Submission records were like, or submitting to these records were like taking a camcorder video of yourself playing the game and then mailing it in.
Yeah.
Because there was no other way to verify this stuff other than in-person meetups. But they couldn't always do that, obviously. So they had to get creative with how they verified these records. If you're doing that for long enough, there's going to be drama associated with it, and you're going to get called out on stuff.
Yeah.
But all in all, I think this is a company that people respect. And
it's
very reputable.
Absolutely.
And
I don't mean to bash their name.
And there's a reason this award is named after the founder of that company. You know? Yeah. So then at the end, they also release a little video montage that celebrates Reggie's career, his history in the industry.
Do they show it at Pizza Hut?
The funny thing about this video, though, is like 90% of it was clips from Nintendo Directs.
Oh, really?
And like little skits that they've done.
Nice.
Which I think is perfect. Because that's who Reggie is. Yeah. And that's why people love him. Of course, obviously.
Yeah, they have to.
Yeah, they showed so many great clips. And actually, it's worth watching just for that because it'll take you back to so many hilarious moments from the history of those videos. Back when we got a lot of Nintendo Directs, and they were all like, they all had humor and skits and stuff in them. Nowadays, I still love watching them, but they're kind of all business.
Yeah.
It's all just video game
Here's
announcement.
games. Yeah. Unfortunate.
They're missing that element of just playful fun.
I mean, when you got like Reggie Iwata and Shigeru Miyamoto, like you knew it was going to be gold.
Yeah, for sure.
Like the whole Robot Chicken one was probably one of my favorite skits they've ever did.
Yeah.
They had this whole, like, they had the guys from Robot Chicken, like, Claymate, every, like, Reggie giving a speech at a panel.
Right.
And then, like, fans being like, where's Mother 3?
That was fun. My personal favorite is the Reginator, the Mega 64
yeah,
directed
that one is
video.
great.
Just so much fun.
They worked with a lot of cool people.
They did.
Didn't they?
Absolutely. Because they're playful. They're willing to just have fun and not be too self-serious, which I like.
Exactly. Well, hey, Reggie. If you're listening, congratulations.
Yeah, congrats. That's awesome.
On the highest of honors.
Yep.
There's no one who is more deserving than you.
Agreed.
In my opinion.
Absolutely. Well said.
Thank you.
That's good.
Thank you. So if you ever want to be on the show, you just let us know.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we'll tweet at you.
Don't forget to add that every time we bring up
I'm
Reggie.
going to. I'm going to say it every single time.
Good.
Someday.
Because I forget.
Someday, somehow, some way,
Yep.
he will be in the studio sitting on that gross couch over there. Maybe even sitting in your chair.
Can almost imagine. We'd give him this chair.
Absolutely.
For sure.
We'd have to.
This is kind of the chair.
Yeah, that's the mainstay.
Yep.
I mean, when I had an interview, I made him sit in that chair, but whatever.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I probably should have let him sit in my chair, but
You probably should
that was
have.
back in the day. We won't talk about that.
Whatever.
Now. But hey, Reggie, we appreciate you.
Yep.
You're a great guy.
Yep.
And this has been your Reggie Watch.
Nicely done, sir.
You're welcome.
Thanks for that.
My dad listened to an episode that we had a Reggie Watch. He's like, I see you found the reverb.
Oh, got it. That's
I
funny.
was like, yeah, I did.
Was he also like, why do you talk about this Reggie guy so much?
I mean, basically.
Yeah, that's funny.
My mom listens to the podcast.
Oh, good.
She said
Okay.
she loves it.
That's great.
She said she's never.
And it's not just because she has to say that. Right?
No. She's legitimate. So
Okay, that's cool.
yeah.
Cool.
Sorry.
So we got a few listeners out there.
my mom.
Yep, that's great.
And then your mom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Cool.
Every week.
What? Great.
All right.
Awesome. Good talk.
Hey.
Hey.
I've been playing a game.
What have you been playing?
Do you want to hear about it?
Yeah.
Because I'm really digging it.
Please.
It's exciting.
Please tell me. We can take a break from this list.
Yeah, let's do that. I
'Kay.
picked up, I don't even know the full title.
Oh.
Dragon Quest 11S
Yes.
Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition.
Sorry. Could you say that one more time?
Dragon Quest 11S Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition.
Wow, that's a mouthful.
It's great.
That's at least a 4-syllable word.
At least.
At least.
Get counting again because there's a few more than that.
Cool.
So this game it's Dragon Quest 11. It's one of the longest running RPG series out there. One of the most beloved, at least in Japan. And 11's the latest entry. It came out on PlayStation 4 and I believe PC in 2017, a couple years ago. And the Switch. It also came out on 3DS back then. And the Switch version just launched this last week here in the States.
Okay.
I think it came out internationally, actually. And I'm just absolutely loving it, man. It really takes me back to a time when JRPGs weren't overly... The story is overly complex, but the systems weren't overly complex. It was just really refined and well-balanced turn-based battles, a great anime RPG style story, and it's just such a clean, pure RPG experience that I haven't had in a long time.
Okay.
I compare it to series like Final Fantasy these days, which is probably the second longest running JRPG in history.
Yeah.
And that series has just changed so much, so dramatically over the years. And it's almost unrecognizable from what we were playing 20, 30 years ago.
Is it like a 3D what's the word I'm looking for? Like is it like a 2D type thing or is it a 3D?
It's both, actually.
Oh, okay, so it's just like the new game.
Yeah, it's the same as have you seen any footage of the one that came out on PS4 a couple years ago?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fully 3D animated world. And then you can also play the entirety of the game in 2D, like 16-bit, actually closer to 8-bit art style, top down. That's more of a novelty. I haven't really messed around with it a ton.
Okay.
But
can you just like switch it seamlessly? Like
you can. That would have been kind of cool.
Yeah.
You actually have to create a second save file though and play.
Oh,
because it's
what?
it's really dramatically different. You'd see why if you played it, why you couldn't just directly convert between the two.
Yeah.
Because the quote unquote open world spaces in the 3D version are just massive, wide open rolling hills and tons of foliage and structures all over the place.
So they have to like really.
And then the 2D version looks like a Nintendo or Super Nintendo game. It's a lot more condensed and a lot less detail, obviously, in the design of the world, the layout of the world.
Got it.
So, and that's an understandable trade-off. But again, it's more of a novelty. You'll be playing most of the game in 3D anyway. So it's kind of a moot point.
So you can play the whole game in 3D and then replay it in 2D.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's a huge game, a very long game. As you know, you've played JRPGs in the past. We talk about Star Ocean up till the end of time. All the time.
Such a good game.
But in typical old school JRPG fashion, I was at like the 25-hour mark. That's I played that in about a week. That's a lot for me. So I'm really sinking my teeth into this game.
I guess so.
But after about a week, I'm at the 25-hour mark, and I kind of felt like the plot that I was working on, the story that was being told to me, was kind of coming to a climax. Like I was getting toward the end. And then, of course, something major, something catastrophic, something huge happened, and it completely changed my perspective of this game and where it was going and how much I thought was left. It is a good thing because I thought I was kind of wrapping things up, but now I realize I've barely scratched the surface. It's that kind of thing. So there's a lot of game left there, from what I can tell.
I mean, that's kind of the thing with RPGs.
That's how they do that. That's how they do that. I like it when that happens.
Sorry, I didn't mean to yawn.
That's okay.
I'm not
It's
bored.
early. It's early.
It is. Are you done?
No. One of the I'll just give you a little more.
Yeah.
One of the highlights of this game is the story and the characters, and that's always been true of Dragon Quest.
Yeah.
They create a world that's very charming and inviting and homey, but it still has like an intense, dire story going on. There's still catastrophic things happening, and there's still a lot to be sad about, but the world is always so inviting. That's hard to do, I think, because look at most games that come out today. Everything's so dark and bleak and ugly, you know? But this game, it walks the line, and it gives you a bit of both. Part of that is thanks to the art, which, is by Akira Toriyama. And all the characters just have such vibrancy and lifelike personality. And they're all, exaggerated features. And they just look like characters you want to spend time with. So much about the game just draws you in and makes you want to play more. And then there's a really good story in there too, which makes you want to stick around.
I've never played any Dragon Quest games, so if I was to pick one up, would you say pick this one up?
Great place to start. Okay. Yeah, it's a great place to jump in. A note on the story: somebody in an article I read somewhere, I think it was a review, compared the way this story is told to an anime, and they said it's like.
I hear that a lot.
They said it's like an anime with like 10 seasons, and each season has a cool, fun, interesting story arc, but then there's also kind of big overarching story that takes place across all of the seasons.
Yeah.
I think that's a really apt comparison, because any one of the, the isolated quests that you go on in this could be an episode from an anime.
Yeah.
And because of the art style, because of the good voice acting, it really plays out almost like watching an anime at times. So, I think that's a cool way to approach a story. Oftentimes, side quests and stuff just get lost in the shuffle because it's just, more mundane stuff that you're doing.
Yeah.
But because
go kill this, come back with this.
Because they're all personified with like interesting characters and cool writing and cool dialogue, they feel like you're playing through episodes of an anime. So if you're an anime fan, you can almost enjoy the game just on those merits, even apart from the JRPG stuff.
And it's made by the same art director who did like Dragon Ball Z and stuff.
That's right. Yeah, that's Akira Toriyama.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I highly recommend it. It's a really fun game.
Yeah, it's definitely a game that like I should definitely check out. I've never played any Dragon Quest games ever.
Yeah.
So
I highly recommend it. You're an anime fan?
I like animus.
Yeah, you do. Of
they're
course.
like my favorite kind of moves.
You like RPGs?
I do, though. I enjoy those as well.
You like spending 80 hours with a game?
Oh, God, yeah. Unfortunately, I do.
See? You could bust through that.
Man, you sound like a car salesman right now.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
Do you like 80 hours of gameplay? Do you like animu? Well, I got the game for you.
Is that what I sound like?
Yeah, that's what you sound like.
Okay.
He's car salesman.
I'm in the wrong business, man.
I know,
wrong
right?
industry. Yeah.
Let me think. I'm still playing Borderlands.
Still, huh?
Still, yeah.
Yeah, I keep thinking, hey, should I ask Scott what he's been playing? But I know the answer to that.
There's a couple games I have been trying to check out. I know Hades is coming to early access on Steam here relatively soon.
Wait, coming out of early access?
No, coming to
it's
going to early access on Steam.
Yeah, where has it been available up to this
Epic
point?
Games.
It's an Epic exclusive.
Yeah, it's
okay,
an Epic
got it.
exclusive right now.
And now's probably a good time to jump in because they've added lots and lots of content since
Yes.
it first went into early access.
I played at PAX and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it looks cool.
And then there's this other one. Let me pull it up here. Hang
Okay.
on.
Do it to it.
It's a game that I've been. Nope, not this one. It's a game that I have been kind of looking at a lot on Steam. Yes. Sorry,
Spit it out.
I'm trying to find it, but
okay.
they don't show any of the pictures. I only know by the picture.
Uh-huh.
It reminds me a lot of whatchamacallit.
Candy bars? Weird.
No. It reminds me a lot about Shantae, Half Genie Hero.
Oh.
So it's kind of a side-scrolling game. Here it is.
Just buy it, man.
I know. I really should. It's called Indivisible.
Oh, okay.
And it's a hand-drawn RPG platformer from Lab Studios.
Mm-hmm.
They created Skullgirls. So it's from
okay.
the same people who created Skullgirls. And it's about a fearless girl with a rebellious streak who sets out on a quest to save everything she knows from being destroyed.
Okay.
So basically, typical RPG tropes. But
how did this come to your attention? That's so random.
I literally
You're just browsing Steam or something?
Yeah. Sometimes I just browse Steam and I'll look at things that are like coming soon or things that are on sale, and I'll just look at it. But it looks super, super cool.
There's an obscene number of games on Steam.
Oh
How
my
do you just
God.
browse Steam? You look at top lists, I suppose.
Yeah,
right?
I'm looking at like top lists and stuff, but the game is like beautiful, and
Okay.
it's kind of like a turn-based. It's so hard to explain without playing it and like explain it to someone.
I'm thinking Child of Light. Is that an apt comparison?
I don't
maybe?
know
Do you
what
remember
Child
that
of
game?
Light is.
It's a
No,
Ubisoft game that was like part side scroller, part JRPG, turn-based RPG.
I don't know.
And it had a unique art style. So.
Never heard of that before.
Well, then, I guess that comparison doesn't work, does it?
But yeah, this game looks
Okay.
just like Shantae. Not looks like, but same art style.
Cool.
But instead of being like combat where you just do it, it's like a turn-based combat. But it also gives you kind of like flow of your characters, like Star Ocean Till the End of Time did.
Yeah.
That's like the game that I compare everything to, is Star Ocean Till the End of Time.
Why do we do that?
I don't know.
It's just a touchstone.
But I should just buy it and play it because I love Borderlands and I'm still having a ton of fun with Borderlands.
Yeah.
But I wanna play something new to talk to you guys about.
You should.
Thank you.
Yep.
Hey,
Hey, man.
we're
What's going
coming
on?
up relatively quickly on the end of the game.
Okay.
So let's talk about
The end of the game, the end of the show.
we should just call
Life's-
say the end of the game.
Life's a game, you know?
We should just say the end of the game.
Right.
So we could banter on for about 8 minutes, or we can talk about everyone's favorite subject,
What's his what?
class
Where's this
action
going?
lawsuits.
Oh, gosh. Do we have to?
I mean, we don't have to.
No, let's do it.
We can talk about Monster Hunter.
This is something that is worth mentioning because it's kind of big and it affects the industry.
Yeah.
Or it has the potential to affect the industry.
Okay, well, make it a TLDR.
And it's about Fortnite. So everybody's going to want to hear
Yeah,
about it.
everyone wants to
know, the
know.
world's most popular game.
When you talk about Fortnite,
So I'll run through the bullet points and you can give me some feedback on what you think of all this because it's a weird story.
okay.
So Canadian law firm Calex Legal
Mm-hmm.
is opening a class action lawsuit against Epic on behalf of the parents of 2 kids that they say have become addicted to Fortnite.
Okay.
It's already rubbing you the wrong
I'm
way, right?
already annoyed with this story.
So here's what the suit claims. They say that Epic knowingly worked with psychologists to make Fortnite as addictive as possible, to be as predatory and addictive as possible.
Oh my god.
What's so funny?
I'm so mad right now. Continue.
That comes from I guess there was a psychologist or somebody who had a psychology degree on the Fortnite team, and they went and kind of wrote an article about their time on the Fortnite team and what they helped to do when they worked for the company.
Yeah, they
And
made
so-
malicious game software
so-
that'll make their kids addicted to it.
Yeah, I mean, to some extent, I'm sure that they studied what is appealing to people as players.
Yeah.
That's called like focus testing, right? It's
Yeah.
a thing that happens.
Yeah.
So that might be a little bit of a dramatic claim that psychologists are working to make this game predatory, but that's what the lawsuit alleges.
My kid won't stop playing Fortnite. Maybe it's because you're a bad parent and you don't know how to limit your
Here's
kid's game time.
I thought we were going to give the commentary at the end, but you're just jumping
No,
right
I'm going
in.
right in.
Yeah, good call. Here's a quote from the suit that's being filed. The defendants knowingly and voluntarily decided not to disclose to users the risks and dangers associated with Fortnite, choosing instead to deny the addictive aspect of the product. So they're basically saying,
Yeah.
the lawsuit's basically saying, and the parents are basically saying that we would have parented better if the company told us that we should watch our kids while they're playing this game.
What?
They wanted Epic essentially to be the ones to say that, to give them a warning, to say that you should
Are
limit
they
your kids'
born
time
in
with
the
this
Dark
game.
Ages? Do they know how video games work?
They're supposed to be fun. They're supposed to be compelling.
Yeah. You know, there's other games out there besides Fortnite, right? Like,
Yeah.
jeez.
It's funny. People just want companies. They want government agencies.
Hey, you
to
want
do their
know,
parenting for
yeah,
them.
I was gonna say,
basically.
hey, you want to know how to be better parents? Being better parents.
Pay attention to what your kids are doing. Pay attention
Yeah.
to how much of it
I'm
they're
not
doing.
even a parent, and I
know.
can take care of kids better.
And you're all riled up about it.
I'm
I love
angry.
this. So here's what these parents are
You
asking
put this
for.
on here just for me, didn't you?
No, I've had some good conversations over the past week with a few different people,
Okay.
parents and non-parents, about this story.
Yeah.
And your reaction is essentially what I've gotten from everybody. It was my reaction too. It's insane.
Yeah.
And it really
You're
just
a
feels
dad.
like, yeah.
Like, I'm sure if your kids were playing Fortnite, you would limit their time playing
Absolutely.
Fortnite.
And yeah, I guess some of the articles talked about how maybe the fallout would be worse taking it away from them than it would just letting them have their time with it. But that's part of parenting.
Yeah.
You have to say no
Wow.
sometimes.
What a hard decision it could be.
Yeah. And yeah, they're going to throw a fit at times, but that's part of parenting.
Yeah, that is.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I was always told if you're a parent, your job isn't to be your kid's best friend.
Right.
You're supposed to lead them and guide
It's
them.
cool if when they get older, if you can end in that
Yeah,
position where you're
absolutely.
good friends, but that your role as a parent when they're young is to protect them from things and look
Exactly.
out for them. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
So here's what the parents want. Here's what the parents are seeking from this lawsuit.
Okay.
They want restitution from damages, which is pretty vague and has yet to be determined because they're probably going to claim all this psychological trauma and stuff like that. They want a fine on Epic Games for what they have done, and they want a refund of their children's in-game expenses. Apparently, these two kids, they're 10 and 15 years old, have spent about $750 US
well,
on Fortnite.
I can't be too
It's
upset.
conceivable, I guess,
spent
right?
way more money on Dota 2.
Okay, there
but
you
then
go.
again, I have a job and my own money that I can make stupid
Right.
purchases with.
And I mean, the parents had to have known these kids were making these purchases. If not, wow, you're really not paying attention.
yeah,
You know what
exactly.
I mean? Yeah. Apparently, there is something in Fortnite's EULA about it's essentially a waiver for class action lawsuits. So it says by playing this game, you agree to not sue us, essentially. But apparently, this Canadian law firm in their province has found a
loophole.
A loophole, yeah, something that makes that null and void, or so they claim. They're gonna have to prove that in court, obviously, but it's crazy, isn't
What
it?
a great story to end on.
I know.
I'm angry now.
It got y'all fired up.
Yeah, it did.
Have you read about this throughout the week, or is this the first
No,
time
this
you're
is
hearing
the
about
first
it?
time I'm hearing
I'm glad
about
we
it.
got your like
Ugh.
unbridled reaction to it.
I'm so
It's really
angry.
absurd. Like even if everything they said was true, even if they did work with psychologists to try to make this game as predatory as possible.
No one would do that though.
But I know. But even if they did, it's still your responsibility, not this game company's responsibility,
To take care of
keep
your
an eye on your
children,
kids.
yeah.
Pretty simple. Accept a
Exactly.
little responsibility.
The game wasn't
It's
meant
not
to,
always easy. It's not
Yeah.
always supposed to be easy.
The game
but-
was never meant for kids though.
right.
It's a
Well, they argue that because of the cartoonish art style and the
No.
lack of violence and stuff and the rating,
Shut up.
that it is more or less designed to be geared toward kids.
I'm gonna end this podcast right now.
You think it's not for kids? That
No.
I might disagree
it's a
with you on.
It's a shooter game. It's like
I know,
PUBG.
but it's cartoony.
So
It looks like Team Fortress. It
would you
looks
let
like-
your kids play Fortnite?
I wouldn't be like adamantly opposed to it, but I don't see why they would. It's such a
They like better games. Your
Yeah,
kids
they like good games.
Your kids like good games.
It's
so
true. Like,
that's fair.
They'd rather play Splatoon probably than Fortnite.
Which is a way better game.
I agree. Yeah, I think so for sure.
Anyways,
That was a fun note to end on, huh?
I know.
We'll follow this and we'll see how it wraps up, how it turns out.
We should talk to Zach on the.
My guess.
Hopefully Zach doesn't listen to this.
Yeah, he'll
and
have
then-
feelings about it.
I'd love to hear it.
I mean, I don't see it going anywhere. Do you?
Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? We'll see.
But hey, anyways,
Hey.
I gotta wrap this up.
Okay.
So, hey guys, don't forget to check us out on all the social medias. Check us out on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch sometimes, I guess, Instagram. iTunes, nwczradio.com on Fridays on the first broadcast station from 10 to 11, and our new place,
We are now hosted on Megaphones. You can find us at Megaphone.
Megaphone, yeah.
And you'll be hearing more about our partnership with
with those guys later.
HPVG Podcast Network
Awesome.
going forward.
That's so cool. I'm so excited.
We're excited about it.
Hopefully you guys are excited about it. We're excited about it.
Absolutely.
We don't have questions. Sorry. Just going to say it right now.
That's fine.
But anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening. From Brittin,
Yep.
from Zach, if he was here. that was good.
my best
That was
Zach.
good. And I am Scott, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
The pharmacy is now closed.